Okay, workout done. Great session. We did pull and core today. So I did 2 main compound movements today. That was pull-ups and then like a Romanian deadlift, which was weighted. And then 2 supersets, a pull and a core movement, and then finished with a little sort of heart-raising circuit. I've been introducing a few more athletic movements recently, so like a few plyometrics, some rotations, and I do those in a little circuit at the end. And that is, well, very much fits with the hybrid philosophy that I was talking about before. So maybe one of the elements that I missed out before this workout was athleticism as well. So obviously athletes, there's strength, there's mobility, there's cardiovascular, there's skills, but there's also these kind of like athletic movements, which are agility, which are power, rotational movements. So I've been including a little bit of that at the end as well. Yes, I did train in a gym, and I didn't end up in the fiery pits of hell. It's kind of funny, people think that because I train predominantly with my body weight, that for some reason I can't go to a gym. And I think people get the wrong idea about why I choose body weight as my main discipline. It certainly isn't because it's necessarily more effective than weights. I think it's just as effective, better in some ways, worse in others. But the main reason is flexibility. At the end of the day, you can't do a gym-based workout at home. So if you can't get to the gym, you're going to struggle really hard to maintain your momentum. Whereas if your workout system can be done mainly from home with minimal equipment, when you get to the gym, it's just kind of a bonus. I don't use a large amount of the equipment in the gym. I still do mainly the same workout, but I could just add a few weighted movements if I wanted to. And I'm in that gym environment, away from home, away from work, in a different setting. So I like to mix it up between the two depending on what's available to me and what feels convenient and what I have time for. But I think that's almost it links with the hybrid training thing and the sense of being dogmatic. There's this sense of having to be blood brothers with the choice of discipline that you make, and if you move away, you're somehow cheating. As if being healthy and fit, you could cheat at all, right? Like it's for yourself, and however you do it, like that's your system, that's your solution to the jigsaw. And if that includes a bit of this, a bit of that, mainly body weight, a bit of weights once in a while, some cardio, like so be it. That's amazing. I almost even having a protein shake today. Get that. Because I'm going to be on the road all day. Protein shakes solve problems. Today was a problem of convenience. So there we go. So now I'm going to talk about the hybrid training system that I've been using over the past month and something I'm going to continue to do going forward. It's kind of funny because this system actually came into being basically after we had Flynn, our new baby, who is just over a month old. And it seems kind of crazy that I would take on a more advanced system or a more demanding system in a way when we had a new baby. And the fact of the matter is that I've made this system really, really flexible, really, really adaptable, and it doesn't require something perfect or very crazily arduous in order to actually tick off the box for that day. And when we get into more details, I'll explain exactly how I mean by that. So the system basically works like this. So in terms of strength, it's the same system that we use or the framework that we start with for most of our clients. So we're doing 3 strength workouts a week. There's a push legs day and a pull core day. The core also involves more like hinging movements as well. So like lower back, not just abs. And we cycle those days around if you're doing 3 days a week. For me, I'm doing 3 days a week. So for example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, push legs, pull core, push legs. And then the next Monday is pull core. So every 2 weeks that loops around and one of those splits gets done twice in the week, if that makes sense. Those days are very similar to what I've described today. Few main compound movements, then some supersets with some compound movements. 9 times out of 10, or maybe 8 times out of 10, it'll be bodyweight 100%, because a lot of the time I'll be doing that from home. If I'm in a gym, I will throw some weighted variations in there as well, just for fun, just for a different stimulus. But predominantly we're using our bodyweight for that, focusing on compound movements. And yeah, in terms of the details, not that important at this stage. And then 3 other days of the week, I'm doing cardio. We have a Peloton at home, which has made it really, really convenient for us. Not sure I would have even tried to tackle this system if we didn't have a Peloton. That was kind of the thing that allowed me to step into this and get me excited. I'm not even sure. We originally bought the Peloton for the office, but it kind of stayed at home, and I actually really started getting into it because, oh, sorry, you lost me there. I really started getting into it because when we had Flynn, on the days where I wasn't strength training or I just felt like I needed to do something to just keep the mental health on point, the Peloton was there and it just seemed pretty easy to just kind of jump on and do a bit of zone 2. And then as I've got into it, I've really started getting into some of the classes on there and a bit more of the high intensity stuff. And now I think I've caught the bug of trying to get as fit as possible. And that's kind of where this came from, alongside all the hybrid stuff that you see online. And I've always done it a little bit with running. Like I would always run like once a week or a couple of times a week, but never really taken it as seriously as I do now. Now with my 3 cardio sessions, I follow I believe to be like a very classic system. This rain is crazy, by the way, so if you can't hear me, I do apologize. I honestly, this is nuts. The world is falling apart. So with those 3 workouts, they basically range in intensity and duration. So we have short duration, high intensity. So that would be more of like your VO2 max hit sort of interval approach, like trying to hit those like peak heart rates for, semi-short periods of time with lots of rest. Then you have your intermediate, which you would call your threshold cardio. So that's holding your heart rate around zone 3 or zone 4 for between 30 to 45 minutes. And then the final session of the week is the zone 2. So that's zone 2 heart rate, sort of able to talk, really, really steady, and holding that for like 45 minutes to an hour. So basically covering all those different heart rate zones, covering the aerobic system, the anaerobic system, hitting those peak heart rates. So we're improving fitness, power, endurance, short-term power in terms of cardiovascular, the lactate system. And that's how we get that rounded approach. And in addition to that, I've also obviously added some of those more metabolic athletic circuits at the end of my strength training as well. So I'm really, probably focusing on the fitness side and the athleticism side more than I ever had. Now, it's really important to say that you don't need to do all of this. Like I've been training for a long time and I have those fundamentals in place, and this just really excites me. I see it as fun. I don't see it as tedious. And I remember I was listening to a podcast yesterday with Mike Israetel, and he was saying that when it comes to having a complex system, he was talking about diet, but we can assume that's about training as well. If you are the sort of person that finds it stressful when it's not perfect and you get annoyed when you don't fit it in and the complexities overwhelm you, he suggests that the actual stress of trying to manage that psychologically is worse for your health than actually doing that. It's actually better to do less and not have the stress than it is to try and do more and have the stress of that. That stress will actually kill you faster than the benefits of doing the exercise. I thought that was a really, really interesting take. Now, there obviously are people like myself that find it really exciting. I don't really get stressed if it's not perfect. That's obviously a part of my mental fortitude that I've built through doing this for a long time, and it's something that we really try to dial into our clients. But some people just can handle it. They don't get stressed about it. They carry it well. If they fail, it doesn't really matter. If you're like that, then it's fine to aim for more complex things, typically. But if you do find it difficult, then I would suggest like simplifying your system. And then also on top of all of that, I also do mobility as well. Typically 15 minutes, around 4 times a week. That's probably the one thing that has slid a little bit, I would say, when I've been moving towards a bit more of a cardio focus. It was something that I would do religiously every single day. So something's got to give usually. And that for me is the thing that has given a little bit, admittedly. I do want to bring it back, but also I don't want to overwhelm myself and put too much time pressure on me, because if I am training for like between 30 to 45 minutes, some of those cardio sessions are obviously a little longer. There's only so much time that I can dedicate to this when I do have 3 children. I have a wife, I have all of life's jobs, and obviously running the business as well. So that's just something that I'm going to have to figure out and accept that maybe that's not the main focus right now, and it's just about maintenance in those areas. If that sounds like a lot, which obviously working out 6 times a week for a lot of you will be, then I would suggest that you keep your 3 strength sessions and reduce your rest periods, because if you reduce your rest periods, okay, there might be a slight dip in terms of like strength and performance gains, but you'll be gaining some of those cardiovascular benefits by chaining those exercises closer together. So when you do that, you kind of get the bang of both out of your workouts. Now, if you do have time for like maybe 4 sessions or 5 sessions, you can maybe keep your strength sessions as they are and then turn those into 2 cardio sessions or 1 cardio session. I would say of all of those, probably either the zone 2 or the intervals is going to be your most high impact or the best return. Obviously with your zone 2, you need to do it for longer, so it's a higher time demand. Intervals are really great for busy people because they don't take much time at all to get the benefits. But if you do want that rounded approach, obviously you want to hit all those different sort of styles of cardiovascular training. But obviously as busy people, it's not always easy to be able to do all of those things and fit all of those things in. So that's the system I'm using at the moment. I honestly feel amazing, and it feels really good to be really fit. Like, I've always been a fit guy, but to really like focus on this and push on this element for a bit, like really does feel, yeah, it feels amazing. And I'm super, super happy that I've fallen into this. And I really believe that this idea of like being a hybrid athlete, or just to be honest, like let's call it a jack of all trades, I think this is going to dominate for a while now. And the reason for that is that it's actually easier to be like pretty okay at everything than it is to try and get really good at one thing. So when we if we have a good system and we're consistent and we stick to it week by week and we have good nutrition, good recovery, then doing a little bit of cardio, a little bit of strength, a little bit of mobility is going to take you so far in terms of feeling good. Now, no, it's not going to turn you into an amazing marathon runner. It's not going to turn you into a pro bodybuilder. But in terms of just being a healthy, fit, happy human, I honestly think there's no better way than like mixing up all of those modalities and having a system that includes all of them in a way that works for you and fits around your life and is efficient and is effective within the bounds of your schedule and your lifestyle and how much time you want to dedicate to this. Because you can have the best plan in the world, but if you can't actually do it, then it's a complete waste of time and it's completely pointless. So it's just as important to find a system that actually fits with your life and you can do consistently without missing the mark all the time, without feeling like you're failing, without beating yourself up, without falling off plan. That's the most important thing. And then optimizing to actually attain the results and goals that you personally want to achieve. And then the other thing that about the hybrid approach that really excites me is that it allows you to be more adaptable with how you approach things. Now, if you obviously do have a very rigid mindset and it needs to be this perfect way every day, it can work against you. But I do believe that if you have a hybrid system, and let's say the strength training sessions you do in the gym, just for the sake of this conversation, and it's a beautiful sunny day and it's a strength day, you could actually go, oh, cool, I'm just going to go embrace the weather and go out for a run today instead. Or if it's peeing it down with rain and you're supposed to go for a run, you can swap that for the strength session. So there's an added element of flexibility just based on the fact that the disciplines are different. So it kind of goes back to what I was saying before about keeping that excitement and keeping that enjoyment and keeping it fresh, but also that practical adaptability and flexibility because of the different approaches and what they actually require in order to implement them and get results from them. So yeah, guys, I hope that was an interesting one. I think really keep your eye out on this movement. I think it's going to be big for a while. And if you have any questions about building a hybrid system or, volumes of different amounts or how you should structure it, please just let me know in the comments. I apologize for the rain. I hope it gives you some ambient vibes in the background. If not, I apologize. Peace out.